the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report for Thursday, June 1st. Show number 283. Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, and we have guests in the studio with us today.
And you better call your friends because it's the entire Nemire clan, or at least most of it.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, call your friends and tell them to tune us in.
Coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter from the John Young Racing for First Responders, Dave Kemmer studio. Also, we charted at 158 in Apple Podcasts in the U.S. again. I think for the second straight week.
Ooh. How about Australia?
We didn't chart in Australia this week for some reason. That was a couple weeks ago.
They're slacking.
I think they must be cold because of winter starting down there. Make sure to check out DCR Graphics. They do, well, before we get to that, I want to mention who we have with us. We are going to be talking to the Nemire racing family here. We have Kenny Nemire, JD Nemire with us. Kenny, Austin Nemire's father. These two, Jerry Nemire's sons.
Yes.
Getting all the
baby boys.
And going back, and your grandfather was, of course, the legendary
Kenny Nemire.
There you go. Not to be confused with Kenny Nemire.
Right. That's who I was named after.
So we'll be talking about, going all the way back to Kenny Nemire to Austin and everything in between. Everything Nemire Racing. Looking forward to hearing about that in just a little bit. Got to mention, though, DCR Graphics, they do full wraps starting at just $350. They also specialize in banners, stickers, die-cast, and T-shirt designs. They can do graphics for any kind of car, including USAC cars, I'm guessing.
Perfect.
Sure you can. Sprint cars, late models, modified stock cars, compacts, even your old grocery getter. You can order your official Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker from DCR Graphics. I did that just before we came on.
Really?
Yeah.
You ordered it?
Yeah. He's going to bring it to the track on Saturday.
Ooh.
So if you want one, $5. I think he's going to bring extra. I know there's some other people that are getting it too.
I think I'll be there.
So if you want your own Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker, $5. He can deliver it to you at the track or mail it out to you. Either way, just $5. Get a hold of Dale at DCR Graphics, 419-308-9523. You can call or text. And you can also check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/DCR Graphics. Also, check out Dominator Race Products. They're back as a sponsor of the show. Check out the classic-looking Killer Z nose. They also have hundreds of steel bumpers for late models and street stocks.
Yes, they do.
I have a brand new one of those on my car, as a matter of fact. I used it up.
I think you'll be pleased to know that I believe your old one is being repurposed.
Really?
Yep. On a purple car, that's all I can say.
Okay, all right. I got it. Understood.
Are you fixing it, Ron?
No, not that one.
Where was it? Order direct from DominatorRaceProducts.com or from local reputable race shops such as Ron Miller Race Cars.
Yeah.
Or you can call Dominator Race Products at 419-923-6970. And, of course, freeze frame photos for all your racing photo needs. Official photographer at Oakshade Raceway. They do action shots, victory lane shots, and they can do all kind of custom items with any of those pictures they take, the action or victory lane shots, canned koozies, tumblers, magnets, whatever you can think of, they can probably do it. I think I saw one with Devin Shields that was like a slate thing, like on a rock. It was pretty cool. Anyways, and they also have the kids' nights they're doing, although they were late this past week, so they didn't do kids' night, and I believe they're going to double that up. So instead of 50 kids, the first 100 kids will get a free 4x6 photo.
Okay, they didn't give away tickets last week, so there's nobody disappointed.
No, nobody got disappointed last week. So if you want a custom photography session, call Charlie, 419-476-9978. Freeze frame photos, special moments frozen in time. Also, shout out to Big D's Pizza, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, and Headhunters Barber Studio and Salon.
I guess that's about it for the show, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, we're done. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for the sponsors.
No, we got
Racing Roundup.
We had a little bit of racing action this past weekend. Attica Raceway Park on Friday night. Travis Philo made a last lap pass to pick up the 410 sprint car win out there. Devin Shields picking up the late model feature win. And Jamie Miller picking up another 305. I believe that's like 3 in a row for him, including Fremont.
It is.
The weekend before.
Out there.
Yeah. Limaland on Friday night. Tyler Rankin, former guest on the show a couple weeks back, picked up the NRA 360 Run for the Rabbit makeup feature win. Luke Griffith picked up the regular NRA 360 feature that night. They had 2 features. Todd Sherman, UMP Modified feature winner, and Tony Anderson picking up the Thunderstock win. Toledo Speedway, and we gave away tickets to that last week.
We did.
And I went. It was interesting.
Entertaining?
It was entertaining.
That's
a little
good.
bit.
And I understand you were up in one of the suites.
Yes, now I know what it's like to be in a suite at Toledo Speedway.
Is it different than being in the announcer's booth at Oakshade?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that.
I understand. Can you see out the windows?
I don't want to. It's funny you mentioned that. Because we're just going to move on. But yes, I could. I could see out the windows.
Okay.
It was very clear. Now, where the hell was I? Oh, yeah. Friday night, Toledo Speedway. Will Slaughter picked up the National Compact Touring Series feature win. Josh Moore won the Ohio Wheelman Series, and the 100-lap factory stock feature winner was Randy Padgett Jr.
I understand that the factory stock feature was worth the price of admission all on its own.
Yeah, it was probably the more eventful feature event of the night. I would have to say. We don't have that camera on yet, so we're good. Flat Rock Speedway Saturday night. Brian Bergaker won the Outlaw Super Late Model feature. That was the Joy Fair Memorial 100, actually. Brian Nestor won the Midwest Modified Tour feature after Mike Sifipinit. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was disqualified.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What did he do?
I don't know. I did not get that. Producer Dave did not give me that information, just that he was disqualified. Dennis Wisman Jr. picked up the Figure 8 feature win at Flat Rock. Saturday night, also at Oakshade Raceway, Casey Noonan picked up his first late model feature win of the year. Carter Schlenk picked up his second sportsman feature win, so he's dominating out there already.
It's hard to believe that he's only in the 6th grade, Scott.
Yeah,
the way he wheels a
winner.
race car, it's amazing.
Justin Gamber picked up the Dominator Superstock A-Main feature win. That went caution-free. Eric Carr was the winner of the Compact A-Main. Joe Nicloy picked up the Superstock B-Main. And Josh Bailey, the Compact B-Main winner there at Oakshade Fremont Speedway on Saturday night. Cap Henry winning the 410s again. Travis Harry won the Great Lakes traditional sprint feature. Jamie Miller again
It's Jamie Miller.
Yeah, Jamie Miller 305 feature
what a
there.
surprise.
Sandusky Speedway was in action on Sunday. Actually, before we get that, we'll finish with Butler here because they were Saturday. Butler Motor Speedway, Justin Turner picking up the 410 sprint win. Bobby Stremme in the modifieds. Caleb Wilbur in the street stocks, and John Ruby in the 4-cylinders. Sandusky Speedway running a Sunday night show.
That Caleb Wilbur, I wonder if that's any relation to Tim Wilbur.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got to be
Can I
somewhere.
back up and say something about
Absolutely.
the Butler Motor Speedway?
Yeah.
I know on July 22nd they're going to have a Chuck Wilson Memorial, so if
That's
anybody can
a
make it
big
up for
deal.
that, so that's going to be a big deal for
Chuck was
the Wilson
great friends
family.
with a lot of racers.
What was the date on that?
July 22nd.
July 22nd. Sandusky Speedway on Saturday. Brian McCoy won the Renegade feature. Jaden Stanfield, the beginner stocks. Trent Aslaskin won the Pure Stock feature, and Sean Warner in the All-American Iron. Waynesfield Motorsports Park. They had a big show on Sunday night, and Dave had to do his research to get the results for this.
Really?
From multiple sources. So I commend him. I gave him a raise, 100% raise.
You doubled his pay?
I doubled his pay.
You're getting way too generous with our sponsorship money.
2 times 0
Nothing
is...
still means nothing.
Thomas Meserol picking up the Great Lakes traditional sprint feature win there. Randy Hannigan won the NRA 360 sprint / Great Lakes super sprint feature. So it was a north-south combined deal there.
And neither of those are strangers to victory lane.
No,
so.
not at all. Jeff Kaz won the UMP modified feature. Tony Anderson again. Stock car feature. Raleigh Hayter won the Dirt Track Truck Series feature event there. So, Lucas Oil late model dirt series action last Thursday at Lucas Oil Speedway. Actually, they were there the entire weekend. Thursday night was Jonathan Davenport. Friday, Jonathan Davenport. Saturday, not Jonathan Davenport. It was actually Ricky Thornton Jr., but he failed the droop test after crossing the line first in the Show Me 100. So Devin Moran was declared the winner.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a lot of drama there on Saturday night.
I guess the limit chain broke.
Is that what happened? I didn't hear that.
That was what I understood.
I don't know how I feel about that. Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions in action last Thursday. Bridgeport Motorsports Park. Tyler Courtney picking up the win. Friday night at Williams Grove, it was Lance DeWeese. Saturday at Port Royal, Anthony Macri. And Sunday also at Port Royal, a couple days there, Lance DeWeese picking up the win in All-Star action. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series action Friday night at Atomic Speedway. It was Brad Sweet picking up the win. Sharon Speedway, Carson Macedo picking up the win. And Monday night at Lawrenceburg Speedway, James McFadden, the winner there. World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Model Series action last Thursday. A lot of all-weekend shows. A lot of Memorial Day weekend's a big weekend. And spoiler alert for how many? Nothing got rained out.
Huh, imagine that.
NASCAR got delayed, but that was about it. Sharon Speedway for the World of Outlaw late models all weekend. Thursday was Chris Madden. Friday, Ryan Gustin and Chris Madden again on Saturday. So it's kind of a Ryan Gustin sandwich with Chris Madden being the buns.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go with that. ARCA Menard Series action. Jesse Love picking up the win Friday night in the General Tire 150 at Charlotte. Truck Series Ben Rhodes picking up the win in North Carolina Education Lottery 200. The Xfinity and the Cup Series races both postponed until Monday, and the Cup Series actually ran first. Coca-Cola 600. Ryan Blaney picking up the win there, and a little bit of controversy in that event.
There was controversy in both major events, Indy and...
oh, yeah. Was there fighting and pushing, though, in the Indy?
No, I don't think so. Just a lot
during the one rain delay,
a lot of whining.
Eric Almirola and Bubba Wallace had a slight altercation.
Oh boy!
Yeah, they did not put him in the ring.
They should.
That should be the next step.
That's it. Put him in the grand or
in the front stretch at Earl Baltus thing.
That's what we used to do in the old days, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I told another racer, he says, "Come on, Miller, you and I are going out back." I said, "No, we're not. We're going up on the front stretch."
Did you?
He was chicken.
Oh, that's awful. Brian Blaney picking up the win of the Coca-Cola 600. Then the Xfinity race running later Monday night was Justin Allgaier picking up the win in the Alsco Uniforms 300. NTT IndyCar Series, the Indianapolis 500 was won by Joseph Newgarden, who made a last lap pass there. Yep. And
I'll tell you what, him going up in the grandstands.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
That was cool, yeah.
That was almost a tearjerker, I'm telling you.
I was a little worried for him when he started getting sworn. I'm like, I don't know that he's going to get back onto the track.
I think he's supposed or should have won it the last 2 years, and so it was good to see him win it.
Yeah,
even though I would have liked to see AJ Foyt's driver win.
Yeah, it would have been a coin toss.
Yeah.
And that had controversy because of the way they finished there with all the red flags the last, 10 laps, 15
10
laps?
I think they had 3 red flags.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time they ever threw the green and white together.
Yep.
They've had races where they've ended under caution, and those are disappointing. But I think that was the first ever green and white.
Didn't you post on Facebook your solution?
I might have.
Where they should just not count the caution flags? Was that what it was?
Last 5 laps have to be green.
Right. That's what my brother said earlier.
Wouldn't that be a problem with fuel, though, maybe?
Not a problem if you're prepared.
Right.
I mean, NASCAR runs extra laps.
That's true.
Themselves, not knowing the fuel distance. So.
Some other notes from this past weekend. Jimmy McCune found his way back to victory lane at Birch Run Speedway 10 months after suffering those burns at Butler. So Jimmy McCune back.
I think he podiumed on Friday, didn't he?
I don't know.
I
know they broke the week before.
Right.
And I think he might have podiumed, but I'm not sure. I knew he won, and then Anthony was second.
Yeah.
Either way, he's back.
Yep.
Not that he really ever went anywhere, but he just took a long break. The High Limit Sprint Series last night was in action at Tri-City Speedway. Kyle Larson picking up the victory there. And from what I heard, I didn't see any of the thing. I just got a text from Dean last night that Cole Macedo was involved with somebody again. He's not making any friends. Did you guys any
I-
catch any of that?
I started watching it last night and I fell asleep. So,
It was that exciting, huh?
well, I just got back from vacation, so I was
Gotcha.
tired.
And then also last night, Castro Fuller Racing Night in America at Florence. Ricky Thornton Jr. picking up the win there. So
He's had a good week.
it's only halfway through for him.
Yeah.
And Kyle Larson, I believe he took. They do the dice roll for
Right.
that, and I think he took whatever he rolled and earned like $30,000 for the win total. So, not that he needs more money, but
Yeah.
he's leading the points there in the high limit sprint car series. So, and that's it for this past weekend. Quite a lot of racing.
Later, are we going to talk about Denny Hamlin? And,
That's in the notes.
Okay,
That's in the news coming up. Yeah.
I thought we were.
But first,
I just
let's
wanted to make sure.
let's-
I'm usually surprised when Kyle Larson doesn't win. So when I see him not win, I usually wonder what or why. So
He must have broke.
yeah,
Right.
because
Or he got punted.
Or you got
he's definitely a number one driver.
There, all right, we're a little. We're cutting you off there. There we go.
You can stay with the big one, Scott.
I could. All right, I give up. We're going back to the big camera.
I thought.
You can work on that.
We
All
don't
right,
need no close-ups.
there you go. That works. And people listening to us on the podcast are like, "What the hell is all that noise?" It's just the.
Kenny, can you hold the camera for another hour?
There you go. Prop it up on something. How about back over on
Put your
this?
phone up.
There. It's close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, I'm in there too.
Nobody
Hi.
needs to see me anyway.
So, anyways, both Kenny and JD Nemire are with us here in Seattle. Actually, Judy's with us as well. Jerry's wife.
Wife.
It's been a long day. I
Wrong
apologize.
show.
Yeah, wrong show. I don't even know.
Oh,
Better watch it there, Ron.
Yeah.
here we go.
So, I mean, you guys, your son is fourth generation racer. So you got four generations of Nemires that have raced going back to, as Judy mentioned, to the 40s, starting with your grandfather. Give us kind of a history of your family in racing.
Well, like you said, my grandfather, Kenneth Nemire, who I was named after, started racing in the 40s. Unfortunately, got killed on July 6th, 1957 at Raceway Park. And then my dad ended up racing for 40 years. Just won the ARCA championship in 1997 with the midget. But just always did his own thing and traveled around with All-Stars, World of Outlaws. Ran a lot of USAC, and I think in 71, he was the only, maybe 72. Mom could maybe say that for sure, but back then you had to drive a race car, and then they had to, the drivers then, like Larry Dixon, Bettenhausen, would have to say, yes, we will let him on the track. Nowadays it just takes money and just throw people out there. So he raced for 40 years, and then Austin started racing in, I don't know, he's 24, so 17 years ago. He started racing at the age of 6,
So Jerry got to see him race then.
Yep. Yes, he did. So,
Quite a
he,
bit.
Austin won the HPD Midget Championship at USAC in 2013 on the USAC and dirt, ran quarter midgets, ran midgets, sprint cars, ARCA cars. So ran for Ron Hemmelgarn for a few years, and greatly appreciated what Ron did for Austin through the years, and that's about it as far as the tradition of keeping the Nemire racing going on.
I remember watching your grandfather when I was just one of those little rugrats playing with plastic cars under the grandstands at Raceway Park. So, yeah, the Nemire family goes back a long way.
Yep. So, yep.
Now, does Austin? You said he drives all kinds of different cars. Does he have a favorite? The full-body stock car, ARCA car, the Silver Crown. Which
I think he's always told me he kind of liked the midget when we ran the HPD, on the pavement and stuff. But he likes the mild dirt tracks and the bigger tracks, so he's done well on them. So he ran a USAC Silver Crown car at 15 and a half, and I was at the Indy Mile at the Hoosier 100, and he qualified 10th quick and finished the race. And so I think his preference is the bigger mile tracks.
Has he run any USAC stock cars?
Nope, just the
Okay, just open wheel cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did run ARCA at Toledo Speedway in
Right.
2016 and 17 for
Right.
Andy Hillenberg. So,
Right.
Yep.
I didn't know if he had run any of the USAC stuff on the mile. That's always looked intriguing.
Yeah, just the USAC Silver Crown cars he ran
Yeah,
on the mile
okay.
at Springfield, Indy
DuQuoin.
Mile, and DuQuoin.
Now, what is your guys' role? What has your guys' role been?
Usually money always helps. So that's always try to help out when I can. My main role has been, say, a mechanic or fabrication, and also a car owner. And for the midget, when we won the 1997 ARCA championship, how that started was, I believe, in 1995, Kenny and I decided that we were going to buy a race car. So actually, Dad got the word that why and how did we buy a race car? And then we bought the midget with the engine to plan on myself driving and racing. And probably did not go over very well, even though Dad was okay with racing and driving, but he'd rather us focus on being a mechanic. And so anyway, that's how that started. So
How did Mom feel about it?
As far as what?
Him wanting to go racing?
No.
No? Okay.
She
I
was
guess-
totally
yeah,
against
yeah.
it.
So to put it politely, Mom and Dad said, no, you're not driving a race car. So I became the owner of the midget. So we put my dad in it in 1996, I believe, and we ran a few races with ARCA, and we ran pretty well, say a third or a fourth or a fifth with low budget Pontiac motor. And so we put my dad back in the midget in 1997 since we ran well. So how do you take a driver out of the race car running well? So
No
we
wonder he didn't want you to drive.
Yeah.
He knew where it was going to
Yeah,
land.
yeah. So he drove. We won the championship. Then, of course, in 1998, how do you take a champion out of the race car? So that's how we became owners. And that was basically my entire life was I learned and did everything from my knowledge of my dad. And I was side by side every night, every day. That was my second job. And if I wasn't really working, I would say that was my first job.
Now, I know the family's always run the number 16. Wasn't there a number 14 in your garage for a while?
Yep.
Can you
So,
talk about that?
Number 16 came from my grandfather Kenny, so it came about when he first signed in at Raceway Park.
He was
He
16.
signed in at number 16, so he became 16, but then, he liked sweet 16.
Right.
But Dad built a car for Lloyd Weaver, which was a dark blue gold leaf 14, so he actually owned that, and Weaver's cars were always 14, so yes, there was a car at the time that was in the shop, a blue car, 14, and then, of course,
Basically, Sweet 16 was the number one Nemire racing number.
Right.
But when we also ran Dirt Champ car, number 98 for Bob Lesko Sr., and Austin runs for Bob Lesko Jr. Out of New Jersey. So that is almost a family number with the USAC Silver Crown Series, was the number 98 and 16. That's how I kind of recognize our racing family number.
Sure.
we always had, when Austin drove for Ron Hemmelgarn, when he was helping us, it was always 91, so everybody said that was like 16 upside down.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Or backwards, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Probably talking too about the 14 of the Voight car.
yeah. Yeah, so
What's the story with that? The Ford car.
Voight car, Dad wrenched for Bill Compton. Friend of his had bought it for him, and Dad wrenched it, and then they, long story short, my dad ended up getting in the car, ran good in it. We ran it from 81 to 86. JD and a couple of my dad's friends restored it in, can't say the exact year, but they restored it. Tony Stewart, of course, being a Voight fan, always wanted the car, and I had contacted Tony probably about 6 weeks before we knew Dad was going to not make it, and offered him to have the chance to buy it first. So Dad restored it. Tony came and bought it from my dad. I said that was the only way we'd like him to buy it if he came and did a gentleman's handshake. So
Sure.
Dad was not doing well. Tony was supposed to come the week of Mother's Day, and I called him and said we didn't think he was going to make it much longer. So he changed his plans, flew in Toledo, spent 6 hours with us, and bought the car from my dad. It's still now at the Sprint Car Hall of Fame in Knoxville. It's been there really ever since it left, except for that same week in May for the Indy 500 and stuff. They recognized A.J. Foyt. So Tony let us be involved with the car. We took it there. He took it out on the track. We had the old style checkered white Gilmore shirt. So very thankful for what Tony did for my dad and our family.
I saw a special on Tony Stewart with Jeff Gordon in his museum a couple of weeks ago, and I was really hoping to see that car, but you're saying it's in the Gilmore Museum now?
No, it's still in Sprint Car
Knoxville.
Hall of Fame
okay.
in Knoxville. It's
Okay.
been there for 2017, so
It'll probably
6
wind
years.
up in Tony's museum,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yes,
which is, I was stunned at what he owns.
yep. So he's got a lot of stuff. So very thankful for what he did for our family.
So going back to your grandfather, I thought I read somewhere that he actually raced in a convertible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that's how he passed away.
Ew.
It was in an accident at Toledo
Like
Raceway.
a convertible stock car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the seat belts, whatever you want to call seat belts back in the day, actually broke loose. And
Did
unfortunately,
they have? Was it just like the standard seatbelts in a car, or
It
did
was
they
like
have a racing?
It was
underneath?
like an aeroplane seat
Type
belt
seat belts.
back in the day. It was a seat belt, but
And that was at where what became Toledo Raceway
the
Park, where
horse
they
track,
raced.
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that's where they used to race cars, and that's where you played under the grandstands with your with your cars.
that was it. And it's amazing. I've talked to a lot of kids, a lot of my age kids, that grew up doing the same thing.
Now you said
So-
your father then Jerry was how old when his father passed away?
My grandfather passed away when he was 31, and Dad was 11 years old.
Okay.
So I guess a question for Ron is, when you're a young kid playing, do you remember my grandfather's 41 pickup truck with Buell air horns, and he would blow the air horns before he went to enter the track?
You know, I do. And of course, I remember the Sweet 16. Your grandfather was a short track hero.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I've heard. I mean, and read stories that he was a champion, very well liked, personality, and I and the family was fortunate enough that my dad, when he passed away, I have the truck. So we have the 41 Ford pickup truck, and I had restored it, all racing, sprint car equipment for running gear. So we have the Halabrand quick change rear end, custom drop front axle, all 6-pin weld wheels
Wow.
with the knockoffs, all vintage.
And this is on
Racing.
a 41 Ford pickup.
41 Ford pickup. So
JD
it's
made all the radius rods, made brackets.
Sure.
So
Is this street legal?
we'll show you some pictures afterwards.
Yeah, street legal. Took about 2 years, and it was all fabrication and design. And I would like to say it is one of a kind. And it will be on display this weekend at Fremont Speedway for the Hall of Fame night, which is June 3rd at 2:30 p.m.
I saw something on their. I saw 2:30, and then I saw something on their website this afternoon that the induction ceremony is at 2. So I'm not sure if it's 2 or 2:30. But either way, you'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there.
JD, little self-serving. I'd like to see it at the Whiteford Fall Festival on October 7th. Big car show. Last year we had over 300 cars. We're hoping for more than that this year. I'd sure love to see that.
I can definitely do that.
Ooh,
Are you going to give rides in it this Saturday?
no.
Or is it just going to be on display?
He ain't taking it on the track.
Oh,
Well,
We went around the track one time.
Right.
one time around the
we're
track.
gonna. Well, that's still in debate.
Oh. Well, you at least
My
start it
plan-
up, though. And
Oh yeah. My
Okay.
plan is still to take it around the track, but if it's muddy and wet, no. But
it all washes off.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I said. It washes off, but it's
Still got the original paint from the 50s.
Wow.
And the
So-
Buell air horn.
Yeah, the Buell air horns.
Uh-huh.
So I guess that's why I was asking Ron if you remember Buell herons, because we have a couple articles. I have one that I printed out that will be on display. That they knew when Kenny Nemire was at the track because he would blow the Buell air horns entering the pit gate, and that all the fans would be excited to know that Kenny Nemire was going to race that day. So
Your grandpa's stuff was always so well presented, and it was back in the heyday of stock car racing with your grandpa and McCune and, the Beal family.
yes.
Racing was really fun then.
And
But-
now
but-
it just takes money.
But his stuff was always so well presented.
Right.
Yeah, and that's I think that's what I say we all learned from my father. And today I have classic cars, and everything I do is to the best I can, to the best quality and showmanship. Because if you remember my dad's Sweet 16 in red, I would say it's probably was the number one looking race car at any USAC show, and we had many compliments, and we did it all on ourselves or on our own with limited budgets. That's the big thing different today.
Is that Niemeyer red? Is that copyrighted? Was it always about the same color of red?
It was always very close to summer red. yes.
Right.
Okay.
It's a very particular red.
Yeah.
And the gold leaf numbers.
Gold leaf, Sweet 16, yes.
So
Back to the truck. JD had just taken that a couple months ago to the Cleveland Car Show. I don't know the exact name of it. He could say it, but he got first place with it. So
That's
very,
pretty.
very
That's
neat.
pretty cool.
'Cause like he said, it's one of a kind.
Yeah. And it should on, I believe it's August 5th at Toledo Speedway when USAC Silver Crown,
Rally Beal night.
Raleigh Beal night. So
It'll be displayed there also.
yeah, so the truck will be there, and to your point, Ron, that there's many, many people that still remember that pickup truck, and I have people can't wait to see it at Fremont or Toledo Speedway. I mean, I get messages, weekly, looking forward to that pickup truck, and just knowing the story behind that, and also say the fabrication of being a sprint car front to rear equipment. So it was challenging, but I did it in memory of my dad.
nice. Now, is Jerry then, he's in the Fremont Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kenny. And he was
And Kenny,
inducted in 2017.
Yep.
Was Fremont around back when Kenny was running?
Yes.
I did not realize that.
74th year, I think they've been.
Has it been around?
advertising.
Okay, I didn't realize Fremont's
Yeah,
been
so Dad passed away, ironically, on May 16th, being the number 16th. But that, a couple weeks later of that month in June, Dad and Grandpa Kenny were going to be recognized at the Fremont Hall of Fame. But they ended up coming to the house and presenting him the award and stuff before he passed away. So that was really nice of
Yeah.
them to do that also.
So
Maybe-
Rich,
Maybe Dave Kemmer can tell us what year the Speedway did open at Fremont.
I think is my guess would be 1951.
74 minus 2003, 23. Do the math. 49? 50? I don't know. I can't.
My
do
guess
the
was 50 or 51 because Johnny Oxter ran the
Oh, yeah.
first race there, and he just passed away last year.
math. Yeah.
So, and and my dad actually raced and
Drove for Johnny Oxter, too.
Oxter, but that's the thing of old school. It's like family. So Johnny Oxter was a family member to us just because of the racing history. And, you go to Fremont, you don't just pack up the trailer and leave. You hang out, and I guess you could say we had a few beers and snacks,
You guys are bringing up some names. You really are.
Yeah.
And then you got to think of Leo Caldwell,
Yes.
Dean Stuyvesant, a lot of guys that were very active back then.
Right.
So if you had to pick one win that Jerry had, what would you say was the biggest win for him? Or at least the one that meant the most to him?
Yeah, I'm not sure I could I guess if it was
Too many to pick from?
Yeah, I think the story that I remember the most was at Fremont Speedway when USAC ran at Fremont non-wings, and I'm not sure they only ran there a couple times.
Once, that was the only
one
time.
So
Well, no, they did race back because he drove for D. Gensman too. That was a USAC show.
So anyway, the story I remember is my dad showed up and didn't have a ride, but he got in a spring front sprint car from Walt Wittenbottom.
Yep.
And they said, Jerry, you want to drive this? Nobody wants to drive it. He goes, I'll drive that thing. So anyway, this long story short is he basically started last. He won his heat race, started last in the feature because of qualifying, went from last to second. He would have won it, except one of the nozzles plugged, started missing. He still finished second to, I believe, Eddie Levitt.
Yep, Eddie Levitt won it that day.
So he would have won that. So in my eyes, that was the number one win.
So would you say Fremont was his favorite track then, or what would you say his favorite track was, if he had one?
I think he liked the mild dirt tracks.
Yep.
So DuQuoin and
DuQuoin, Illinois.
Springfield and Indy, but DuQuoin was probably his favorite because he had to be tough. And my dad was one tough son of a bitch. I can tell you that because he drove and the DuQuoin, the temperatures was 107 degrees, and he raced a full race.
Never been in one before. Finished 7th on the same lap.
Wow.
And
So-
then drove us all home so we could get to school.
Yeah, race 100 laps, drive us home. We'd sleep on the way home, and we'd wake up in time to get up for school.
Before power steering.
And you were right. Dave did his homework there. 72 years open in 1951.
He said
good.
51.
Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can triple his pay now. So let's talk a little bit about the latest generation racer in the Nemire family, Austin. He's been doing it for a while, but what has he been doing recently?
Recently, working. But anyways, I'll just give you a quick brief of. He started racing at age 6 at the rec center in quarter midget racing. We did that probably for 7 to 8 years. Then he jumped in an HPD midget race with Ron, won the championship I think in 2013. He ran his first indoor race at Fort Wayne Coliseum for Tom O'Connell at 13 years old. He was the youngest ever to make it at the time. Now they've had a couple other people, Justin Peck, Cooper Klaus at the time. But he made both races first time at the Coliseum, and even Tony Stewart was impressed how he did. And he won his heat both nights, finished 5th the first night, and unfortunately he's going to start on the front row of the second night, and we had some problems. So then he went on to Ron Hummelgarn asked if he wanted to race a USAC Silver Crown car, and we got it okayed at the time for him to run that. He ran with Ron for a few years, also competing in our own full-size midget, local tracks, a few USAC races, and then ended up getting a sprint car for a year, wing sprint car, and ran some ARCA races for
Where do you run the wing sprint car?
Fremont, and then we ran some like a I-96 was his first time ever in it because Fremont had got rained out. And,
Gotcha.
but same old thing. It takes money. You need somebody, a setup person, and I think Linder's one night he ran real well, changed the whole car around, put different shocks on it, and unfortunately, he thought he had to pass one more car in the B main, which he had already made it, and he stood it up coming out of the fourth turn with one lap to left. And ended up flipping it. So, but anyways, it's part of learning, and I mean, he's did well for the past 17 years of what he's did. He really enjoys the USAC Silver Crown cars. He runs a dirt car for, like my brother had mentioned, for Bob Lesko, which my dad had run for Bob Lesko Sr. for probably at least 10 or 12 years, and Austin's ran for Bob Jr. Probably the past 6-7 years. So we've been friends with the Lesko family for 30 years, and then we had our own pavement car, and we had our own midgets, which JD and our good friend Joe Yeager had owned, and just fortunate for the people that have helped us through the years, and Ron, my brother, Joe Yeager. I mean, there's just so many people to thank, but fortunately I sold my pavement car and just going to concentrate on hopefully running the last 5 dirt races. And
With the Silver Crown.
Yep, and unfortunately I'll probably run the indoor race with Tom O'Connor's car, and I would say we're probably going to call it quits after that. I hate to say it, but...
Oh, wait, is that breaking news?
I don't want it to be.
Hopefully
I'm not
not.
saying for sure, but we're just
Scott-
leaning that way. He's 24 years
Racers
old.
never quit.
I know.
Yeah, things can change if we have money.
Right.
So
They just take a break from driving for.
So is he going to run? Is he going to try and get a ride for the Rally Beal Classic?
I'm working on a couple things, so hopefully something comes through that we can do that. I don't want to say anything for sure because things fall through, but I am talking to a couple people, and
So it's a possibility at
right.
this point.
So I'd like to, because I'd really, if this is going to be his last year, I'd like to have him at least finish one more race at Toledo Speedway. So.
otherwise, we're going to put that 41 Ford pickup truck on the front row.
Blare the horns. Now, Austin, he couldn't. He was going to try and be with us
Yeah, I
here
was
tonight,
hoping
but
he
he's,
could, but
he's
he's
working.
working
What's his interest level in continuing racing? I mean, is that something he really wants to do, or is it just?
I think it's starting to dwindle off just because he knows things take money, and I'm not saying he feels people have wasted their money. It's just it just takes money anymore, and if you can't have run 80, 90 races a year, it's hard when you just jump in with competitive people just running 10 or 12 races. I mean, he does a great job for what he does, and I wish we could do more. But a funny thing that he always said, I said, Austin, I wish we could just win the lottery. I'd give you everything to go racing. He goes, why would we do that? He goes, let's go have fun.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So I always thought that was funny, but I know he still enjoys it. He has that drive when we're at the racetrack, and he's always willing to help, and he sits there and helps me change tires and bars, and he just wants to do the best he can for himself and us and who he's running for. But like I said, it takes a good setup person anymore, and it's hard when you don't have that person.
How did?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I just talking about the money, which we all understand. But so I have friends that come over, and I have my dad's 89 Osborne vintage race car, champ car there that I display. Usually we would take it to Fremont or Toledo besides the truck this year. But my friends always ask, how much money we make racing. And I said, well, we don't make any money racing. Usually you lose money. And they said, don't quite understand that. So my dad always said this phrase. So I told the people that we can make $1 million racing. They said, oh, that'd be great. And my dad always said, if you start out with $2 million, you'll end up spending $1 million. So
that seems pretty generous if you end up with that.
Right.
Now, Austin had made a couple of Arca Menard Series races. How did that come about?
Well, Andy Hillenberg was running
Okay.
the USAC Silver Crown at the time when we had just jumped into it in 2016. So Andy had cars and stuff, and approached us about running Toledo. So fortunately enough, I raised enough money, of all the Toledo people here helping and businesses, and we were able to put Austin in the car. He never drove a stick shift. He showed up at the racetrack, and Andy said, "You've never drove a stick shift?" So he goes, "Nope." He goes, "Come on, let's go." So there was a tow truck there, and he jumped in it and did it, and he went out and kept his composure. He come around to take the green and actually spun before he got it, but he wheeled it all the way back around because you're allowed to, and then he come around. I think, honest to God, I think we qualified 16th, and he ended up 15th, but had some issues. The right rear front went flat, and then next time it grew too much, and even Andy said he wishes he could have gave him a better car. So then the following year we did the same thing in 2017, and he ran well, stayed with the leaders. They gave him a better car, but unfortunately he was leading the race at the time just because of the way the pits and everything were, and unfortunately Andy Hillenberg couldn't be there, and I told him just put him to the rear of the longest line, and the gentleman that was in charge decided not to, and they went 4 deep going into turn 3, and they took him out. So it's part of racing, but I feel he could have probably ran 6th or 7th that day, and it would have been a good showing for never really running an ARCA car.
Did he enjoy running the full-body stock car?
Yeah, he liked it a lot. So, wish things could have went better, but thankful Andy gave him the opportunity, and we had a lot of people in Toledo, supporting him. So it was really fun.
Any possibility that would ever that opportunity would ever come up again?
Well, Austin actually went down and worked for Andy for about a month down in, I think he's not quite in Charlotte, but Andy said he'd like to have him do it again, but there again, it just takes money, and it just.
Well, and that's kind of the current state of racing is
Right.
You're a valuable driver if you have a sponsorship that goes along with you.
Right, for sure.
And that's in pretty much all classes at this
It
level.
doesn't matter what level.
Yeah. So, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the big sponsor.
No. I wish we did sometimes.
How much is that truck worth?
It's not worth anything.
Oh, okay.
Not for sale.
Not for sale.
Nowadays, it doesn't get you very far. I mean, unfortunately, just times have changed, and tires have went up, and fuel costs, fortunately, have stayed down a little bit. Just the cost of getting there and the tires, that's the biggest thing, especially in the pavement racing. Is you can't keep tire costs down. I wish they had different rules, and people go out and practice, and they just got the money to do it. So
Yeah, I love racing, and my passion is racing, but I want to say maybe I was a little smarter because I've stepped away a little bit. So I have classic cars. So I restore cars and sell them. Well, sometimes I sell them.
Sometimes.
or it comes back with more.
But anyway, so I do a lot of classic, vintage, classic cars.
So you guys haven't raced. We just talked earlier. We covered you wanted to, but it didn't work out. Going forward, if Austin should go a different path and not continue racing, is any chance that either one of you would get back into a race or get into a race car?
No, I have no desire.
No desire.
I don't have the kahunas to do that.
I
feel you have to start young.
I still think about it often. And
Let me present it this way: if a car was presented to you, top-notch car, you didn't have to pay for it, and so the owner said, "Go ahead, get in my car. I want you to run it this weekend." You would say no.
Yeah,
I would say
for sure.
absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
I say I'm very fast on a lot of things I've had, snowmobiles,
He's been lucky.
but I'm always out front, but might not finish sometimes. So, but yeah, I would actually when Austin was racing for Tony Stewart for what's the smaller TQ midgets?
Yeah, the TQ midget.
I actually went to a couple races with Austin, and I said, wow, we could buy a couple of these for what a sprint car costs. I could have one, Austin could have one, we could have fun. I'd go every weekend. But I had to some people say that might not be a good idea, but I still think about it often. So anybody out there listening, if you
If there's an opportunity, you got a driver
never know.
here.
Or if you feel like you want to race, maybe you should do it because you never know when or if you have that opportunity again.
Yeah.
But I do everything today from what my dad taught me from when I could walk, and I still respect him. And when I build that truck or build a car or a race car, I know he's watching over me every day. Some people may not understand that, but it's definitely self-satisfying when you accomplish what he had taught you over the years, because I have many friends or even family wonder how I accomplished what I have completed or done on cars, and I 100% is towards my dad. So my dad was a number one fabrication mechanic.
Watching how you got Ron sitting here.
So I'm sure Ron would support that.
Yeah.
So one last question for you guys. Do you prefer dirt or asphalt?
Well, I prefer dirt besides having to wash it every day.
That seems to be the biggest thing of why asphalt guys don't want to go dirt car racing, because they don't want to have to wash their car.
Most of the time my mom was washing it. We had to go to school or work, and Mom would be washing the race car when we got home, or my dad would get home. So
She'd have everything clean. Race car, trailer, everything. And
So what about you? You prefer dirt to asphalt? You kept the
I
dirt
don't really
car.
have a preference. I mean, I like the dirt. I think it takes, I'm not saying more of a driver, because there are some great pavement drivers out there, but I prefer the dirt. But I enjoyed, like, not to get off the subject quick, but when Austin drove for Ron, we went to Gateway. Austin, first time, mile and a quarter track. I mean, he ran third, had a chance to win it, but ran out of fuel, unfortunately. But I really, really enjoyed, the big mile tracks or something bigger, because I just think it's
That was a Silver Crown race?
Yeah. Yep.
I forgot they run those big tracks.
Yeah, they ran it again this past year, 1.25 mile track. So yeah, they're neat. I mean, when the first year we were there in 2016, they clocked them at 182 miles an hour.
I'm
Still
going to
down
ask
the
how
straightaway.
fast they're going. It's all in.
Yeah, it was neat. So
yeah, if I could just add one other thing is little side story is a friend of ours that became really close family is Michael Murray, and he, which I didn't know till later in life, but he lettered my dad's first race car. So yeah, and he's Michael Murray's an artist, pinstriper, and
So when you say lettered, actually
He
painted
hammered,
as
yeah.
opposed to the vinyl that you
Yeah.
have now.
yeah,
he
so-
started off pinstriping
Yeah.
bicycles when he
Yeah.
was a kid, and then he just became a painter and letterer and everything else.
all the classic cars. So when we talked about the AJ Foyt car, my dad called Michael Murray and said, "Hey, would you like to letter my last race car?" So Michael Murray lettered the AJ Foyt car.
Duplicate exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, to the T. My dad had pictures and sizes, so they duplicated it. And then, so Michael Murray lettered my dad's first race car and last race car. And then, then on a side note, my dad's casket was his last ride. So we put Sweet 16
Lettered
on
on
the
the casket.
Yeah, on the casket. So Michael Murray
Yep.
did that. So
Very cool.
I just want to throw that out there because sometimes those are the things that people may not know or like to hear. And our family and our racing family is very close. And to me, that's number one. And so Michael Murray doesn't know it, but I'm working on a vintage quarter midget from the 1950s. So a hint out there, you may see a red Sweet 16 quarter midget in the future. Towed behind that 41 pickup truck.
There we go.
Have you talked to or are you involved at all with the VART guys, the Vintage American Race Cars?
Yeah, I'm on the website. I think
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm sorry.
Where they come out and do little exhibitions all over.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's where I would take the Bob Lesko number 98
Okay.
USAC Silver Crown car.
And Dad always took the Foyt car too to there.
Yeah, yeah. So I've did both. So I actually got to go around the mile dirt track in Indianapolis with the 98 USAC car. What was tentatively supposed to be the last race there. So I got to go around there, and boy, I really wanted to go faster. So
what was holding you back? What are they going to do?
I know. That's
Other
what
than
I
say,
thought.
you can't come back.
I thought about it.
The gear.
Oh, the gear. Okay.
Yeah, but,
I guess that's yeah.
things would be different today. You know, I was like, oh, this is my first time. I don't want to get in trouble. But I should have just listened to my dad because he wouldn't have cared. He would have just took her down the first turn wide open. But,
And I don't know exactly what year it was, but Dad actually got to take the Foyt car and parade the start of the Hoosier 100 with that car. So that was neat. So that he was able to do that also. Cherish a lot of good memories.
Scott, before we move on to another segment, one quick Jerry Nemire story. We were at an open wheel.
Have you ever raced against Jerry?
Oh yeah,
Direct? Oh, okay. You're
It
like
wa-
a classic too.
It was a super. I think Jerry might have been 2 years older than me. We were very close. Anyway, it was a super modified race at Toledo Speedway, and
Wait, you raced a super modified?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
somehow. Anyways, Jerry was supposed to drive this car, and I guess he absolutely refused. But he saw me walking across the pits. He said, "Ronnie, come over here." And you remember that one? Oh, I was hoping you didn't. Anyway, I borrowed a helmet and driver's suit and climbed in this thing. I'd never driven anything quite like it. It was a 4-wheel drive, and the drive shaft rattled around in a tube next to me, and one warm-up lap went down the back stretch, legged it out, turned into turn 3, and the son of a gun went straight right into the fence. And
Did you forget the turn?
no, it just pushed that bad. Got it back to the pits, and the old guy that owned it says, this thing's 4-wheel drive. If you just stepped on the throttle when that was heading towards the wall, the front wheels would have pulled it right down. Yeah, like I'm going to be heading towards the wall and stand on the gas.
Right.
No, thanks. Anyway, that was my only open wheel experience, thanks to your dad.
so did he tell you to drive it, or did he tell you not to drive it?
He said, "Ronnie will drive anything."
Did he ever ask you to drive again?
It wasn't his car.
Oh, so
the
it
old
didn't
guy-
matter to him then.
No, I walked away pretty sure I wasn't going to drive that thing either.
Let me ask you: Did he recommend you for any open rides after that?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. I wonder why.
Well,
No,
and that was about the time Jerry was running almost all open wheel stuff, and I was still with the stock cars.
And you kind of stuck with that.
So our paths never crossed.
Right.
Gotcha.
We both spent a lot of time at McCune Auto Sales back in the day.
Did Jerry ever get into a late model at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A
Yes.
dirt late model?
He actually ran a Arco dirt car for, can't say his name, long time person, but he ran first time ever Arca car at
Springfield.
Springfield.
Yeah, running
But he started
really
racing when he first started racing. He ran figure eights.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Mike?
He's one of the-
Everybody did,
One of those
though.
crazy guys.
1965.
Under somebody else's name.
Right.
Because
That's
he wasn't allowed to race yet. 'Cause
His
he
mom
wasn't
wouldn't let him.
21.
Oh. So little kids, that's how you get to race. Change your name.
But back then, that's how everybody started. Was figure eight. That was your rite of passage.
James Hilton is who did. Somebody just posted there. Steve
Oh, okay.
Schultz Dad drove for James Hilton.
Okay.
So the figure eights, were they like an entry level class back then?
Yeah. Everybody started out that way.
Yeah, if I remember right, then after Dad ran the figure eights, of course I was a little kid or not even born yet, but pictures always bring back memories. But he raced a late model at Toledo Speedway orange number 3 for Dale DeLong.
Okay.
So, which is also a famous name in
Yeah.
the Toledo area.
So will there be a 5th generation Nemire Racing?
That's up to my kids, I guess. That's up to my kids.
Do you think that Austin would, if and when he should have a kid, would kind of push them in that direction? Maybe Grandpa would push him in that direction.
Possibly.
If I had
Great grandma, or
They better start having kids soon if they want that to happen.
Okay.
You just never know. But I don't want them to have kids that quick. But
One funny story about the figure 8.
oh, hold on. Get on the mic over here so we can hear.
he can't hear you.
Oh, well, you tell it. One day I went out, our home car is up on jacks and the tires are gone. I said, where's our tires? They were on the figure 8 car.
Well, yeah.
He took the tires off our home car and put it on a figure 8 car.
Well, if you need tires, you got to take it off some car.
Right.
So he took the tires off of your car and put them on the race car. Did they find their way back onto your car?
Eventually.
Okay, eventually.
In the
Okay.
same shape?
Yeah,
Okay.
but to go out and see, why is our car on jacks?
I wasn't doing the brakes.
Maybe that's the answer to the tire shortages.
Street tires?
Yeah, just jack up your car, take wheels off, throw it on your race car.
Well, the factory stocks at Toledo, that's their tire roll now.
You know, his aunt raced too, the powder puffs. When Kenneth raced, they had the powder puff, and her name was Dagmar. They called her Dagmar. Do you remember that?
I do.
The powder puffs.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was, but I do remember the
So that was
Dagmar. name.
Kenny's sister,
Yeah.
Okay.
Nancy. Then she became Nancy Tansey. So, yep, a lot of memories, goes back a long time.
Way too long, maybe.
So do the Niemeyers have any other interests other than racing? Is that primarily it? Racing in classic cars.
Classic cars.
It's got has to do with vehicles. It's all good.
Yeah. So yeah, for my end, it's racing and classic cars. So
And our garage is still the same
Yeah.
where I left it.
yeah,
Haven't really
yeah,
sold
so-
nothing out of Dad's garage, so thinking maybe I think he said June 24th. There's a vintage race car
at Winchester,
Winchester,
Speedway.
so
there's
we're
a-
gonna try to maybe take some stuff there, but it's filled to the
Swap
hill.
meet or race?
It's a
Swap meet to get rid of
Okay.
old vintage stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it's old timers weekend, so they have all the vintage cars. But if anybody knows my dad, besides storytelling, he collected and kept everything. So the garage is filled with about any part you could think of. So it's hard, but we may finally reach out and take some stuff to Winchester in June. So we'll see. Otherwise, yeah, our interests are still racing, classic cars, and still associating with the racing family. So we go to Fremont because our family's still at Fremont.
And you'll be there this weekend with,
Yes.
with the truck. And when's we were talking earlier? When's the next time we can see Austin in a race car?
Hopefully June 17th in a USAC Silver Crown dirt car at Port Royal.
Okay.
So hoping, and looking forward to that day because the owner Bob Lesko would like to see his car run again too. So open June 17th.
That's not that far away.
No, well, a few
Couple
weeks.
3 weeks.
Weeks from this weekend.
Yeah. So cool. Well, I don't know if it works this way, but our guests usually go on to win. So by proxy, maybe he'll win his next
Yeah.
race.
That'd be nice.
Let's go with that.
We always shoot for top 10s or 5s with the people that you're running against with money and, run 80 to 100 shows a year. So looking forward to it.
Well, it's all about the fun.
Got to be fun.
Winning is fun, though.
Right, for sure.
So, JD and Kenny, thank you for coming in. Stick around here. We just got a little bit of news to cover before we wrap
No
up,
problem.
if that's cool.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you having us.
If you've got anything to add, just jump
Yeah.
right in.
Absolutely. Got to mention we're going to be giving away some Big D's Pizza here in just a little bit.
What kind of pizza?
Big D's in Clyde. You ever been there?
Yeah. I've
Have
heard
you?
of it. No, I haven't been there, but I did hear of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dean,
yeah.
Dean Henry's a big supporter. He sponsors lots of cars and does a lot with Fremont, Sandusky, and
Nice.
also has good pizza. And
Can't
the
wait.
boat, what is it? The cheese
wait.
boat?
Cheese boat.
Cheese boat. It's like bread with melted mozzarella
Cheese and everything,
cheese
yeah.
and garlic, and it's so
Do
good.
they deliver to Fremont
They-
Speedway? Because we could.
Clyde's not that far
Yeah,
away.
it's
from
not. I
there,
don't know that
JD.
they deliver there. We've tried to get them to deliver here.
Right.
But that only happened once. Who was it brought it? Because they came from that direction. That was a long time ago when we were in the studio.
I'll see what we can do on the Saturday.
Okay.
See if we can stop. We'll put a pre-order on.
There you go.
It's right on the main drag in Clyde. You can't
Yeah.
miss it.
Right.
Got to mention Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race. Oakshade Raceway in action this weekend with a full show of late model sportsmen, bombers, super Dominator super stocks,
Come on, Scott.
and compacts. Coming up in a couple of weeks, same night, Austin's going to be racing. June 17th, it's the 5,000 win Barney Oldfield race. And then coming up in July on the 15th, it is the 10,000 win birthday race for the UMP Late Model Summer Nationals. Big D's Pizza and Clyde, just talked about them. Give them a call right now, 419-547-1444. You can also order online at orderbigdspizza.com. They have a Sunday special, large 3-topping pizza for just $9.99. And I believe, Ron, you won a pizza last week, so
I
you
did.
got 30 days to claim your prize.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for John Young to make a trip
He's gonna
over there.
okay. Big D's and Clyde, big on taste, not on price. And finally, Ron Miller Race Cars, Lambertville, Michigan. Give him a call, 734. Is it hard to get to your house now? Because I saw the signs going up with the construction.
You might have to go around the block a couple times.
Okay, but you can still get there.
Absolutely.
734-856-7223. Race cars, parts, safety equipment, broken race car fixing. You've had a lot of that the past couple of weeks, haven't you?
I've asked the guys to play nice, and they just didn't pay any attention.
They drive rough out there at Oakshade, do they?
That's how you stay in business.
I need a break.
All right, don't call Ron
Do you
then.
do anything?
No, please do.
Do you do anything for Casey and Chuck Noonan?
We're good friends.
Yeah.
Chuck is pretty much hands-on himself.
Right. Yeah. Dad and him were good friends back in the day when
Really?
Chuck used to work there. Dick Titsworth at Seaport, and then he went on his own, and he always let Dad use the machine shop and stuff when he needed to and building engines. So, more good people. than Noonan.
Yes. So, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, so Dad basically built all his engines. You know, today you just go to the store and you buy one and take it off the shelf, right? I know there's more to it.
So
than
Jerry
that.
built his own engines.
Yeah.
Okay.
every week, and so performance machining was Chuck Noonan's business at the time. So Dad always would go over there, and so that's how we learned to build race motors, because we do it all from honing blocks to
Do you still build race motors?
yes.
Hey,
So
I have to talk.
Scott needs more.
More, yes.
it only takes money. How fast you
Oh,
want to go?
that's what he always tells me. Thanks. Let's do a little race.
Latest racing news.
16 laps left in Sunday's Indianapolis 500. Felix Rosenquist crashed after losing the lead and collected Kyle Kirkwood. The impact ripped Kirkwood's left rear tire off, which went flying over the catch fence and into a parked car, luckily right in between a grandstand and like a building.
That was amazing that it missed everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm sure that Penske was very happy.
Right.
to
Oh,
miss
yeah.
everybody. But no one was injured in the accident on the track. Kirkwood did slide upside down. Pretty crazy camera view of him. He actually opens his visor as he's upside down sliding on the track
I
there.
thought the same thing. It's like, oh, was he trying to see what he?
What is he doing?
Yeah,
And you
Sometimes I don't know if he knew he was upside down.
seen all the sparks flying.
yeah. It just got dark. It got cloudy all of a sudden. I don't know.
Interesting.
But the lady the lady that owned the car that the tire hit is going to get a new car thanks to Penske. Penske's going to buy that person a new
I
car.
made the comment that those body parts will probably wind up on eBay for some astronomical
Probably.
amount.
That's possible too.
NASCAR's
Go ahead.
NASCAR suspended Chase Elliott for the next race at Worldwide Technology Raceway for intentionally wrecking Denny Hamlin on lap 186 of the Coca-Cola 600. Corey LaJoy will fill in and drive the number 9 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports this weekend. I do have video of that incident that Chase did not admit that he did it intentionally. He said, in the interview afterwards, when he was coming out of the care center, he said, you hit the wall and it's hard to control after that. And this is what happened on the track.
Gets loose. You see him lift out of the gas. The flames crowded Chase, got into him. They saw some retaliation there.
Or did Keselowski get into the left rear corner of Elliott there?
What's that?
I saw Keselowski bump the right rear of Elliott's car.
I think
and,
that was
and turn him
after,
just a
though.
little.
So you don't think he should be suspended?
All
Nope,
happens so fast.
Absolutely not.
Why not suspend all the rest of them? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to do for
There
everyone
have
the same.
been other retaliatory incidents this year, and they've done nothing.
Park them all for a while.
Park them all.
Well, seriously, you do something wrong, park them. They'll see how it is.
Well, and they're parking their most popular driver, so probably going to take a hit in
I don't believe in all that
ratings.
bumping and passing stuff.
No, rubbing is not racing. It's a tagline from a movie.
Yeah.
It's your favorite movie, isn't it?
I like that movie, but rubbing is not racing.
Most of them tracks are 4 wide. If you can't pass them, figure out a different way instead of bumping them.
I like that.
Yeah, Indy, I think, was trying to do what NASCAR was doing. They had 3 red flags, and they were bumping.
Yeah, that's a little crazy, though, those guys. But they go a little faster, too.
I didn't say I.
At nearly 300 miles an hour.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Did you see the one guy go through the grass, too?
Oh, what's his
was-
face?
The 66.
He's got a marker on Google Maps. I've seen his landscape or landscaping right there.
Right.
Tony, was it Tony Kanaan?
Yeah, Tony Kanaan. Who's
Yeah, Kanaan
Oh,
yard
sounds
work
like
or
he's going
mowing.
to finally give it up, though.
Yeah.
When they interviewed him.
Yeah, they kept saying it was going to be his last race. He puts a lot of people in the grandstands.
Yes, he does.
Chase Briscoe and the 14 team have been hit with a major penalty after getting caught using a counterfeit part. The team was docked 120 driver points, 120 owner points, 25 playoff points, and crew chief John Klausmeyer has been suspended for 6 races and fined $250,000. The part in question was something I've never heard of, but I'm not a technical guy. The NACA duct.
The NACA duct.
NACA duct? Okay,
yeah, that's an air duct that could duct air into the driver or to the brakes.
The NASCAR rule book spells out location of these ducts on the left and right side windows, which are used to help cool the car. Tightening the ducts or counterfeiting / modifying the size of the ducts can help a team create more downforce on the race car. So does that sound accurate?
Yeah, I suppose.
The penalty drops Briscoe from 292 points to just 172. The 14 team is bumped from 17th to 31st in the drivers' standings.
Oh, that's a biggie.
That is big.
Because they were only 4 out of into the chase, and now they're that much farther. So it's going to be tough for them to make it up.
so Ron, so they know they're modifying the part or using a part that's not.
Said it was
actually
counterfeit.
qualified?
I mean, it was like
Or what's counterfeit? So, do they think they're not?
it's
going
supposed to.
get
I guess.
caught?
I guess. Yeah. Like,
So it
it's one of
didn't-
those parts that's supplied by
So it didn't
NASCAR
have
or
the
one supplier.
manufacturer's stamp on
Yeah.
it, right? And it may have fit the requirement of the rules.
But it was not through proper channels.
Right.
So is stamped Japan instead of China?
It, probably. Either way, it
Yeah.
sucks for the
Yeah,
14
It's just
team.
interesting.
They shouldn't be doing it, though.
That's true.
Just
Too bad
interesting.
everybody-
At that level of the say the cost, something. You
It
wonder
seems
how
like,
and
yeah.
why.
I mean, there's the hood louvers a few weeks back. It just seems like, I don't know. It seems like everybody's. Are they getting away? Are teams getting away with things? I mean, that's what I want to know.
But
I
they
don't
are.
think they used to.
Yeah.
They definitely used to. I mean, now they're all like cookie cutters now.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
everybody's got their opinion, but
I wonder if there's a NACA duck inspector on.
I
for
want that.
NASCAR.
I want that name tag.
Yeah.
Scott
NACA
Hammer,
duck.
NACA Duct Inspector.
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd took them out Friday.
How about we give away some pizza here?
Okay.
How many?
last week's how many racetracks or races on the Big D's Pizza racing menu from last week would get rained out over the Memorial Day weekend. And I think there was like 19 that we had. None of them got rained out. So everything ran. You said 1 would. I said 2. So you were closer. Congratulations.
Again.
Yeah, again.
Winning is tough, Scott.
I say 0.
We had a little late for that. You can get in the next
So does
one.
Ryan get a free pizza?
I don't know if Dean's going to throw in a free pizza this week.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
That was the one-time thing, I think.
was
But
gonna
our
pick-
listeners will get a free
'cause
pizza.
I was going to pick it up for him.
Well, we have to spin the Big D's pizza wheel because we had quite a few people guess the same thing here.
There were a lot of zeros.
There were a lot of optimistic people, yeah. So Gretchen Knapp, Nancy Schoenauer, Joshua Schoenauer, John Young, Steve Schloss, and, of course, Dean Henry, who owns Big D's Pizza. So if he wins, we just spin
We
again.
disqualify him. We
So-
black flag him.
Here we
All
go.
them people said 0.
The odds
These are the people that said 0.
Alrighty.
The odds were in favor not to be rained out. Because
Steve Schultz is a friend of ours.
Schultz, is that so? Okay?
We'll go with
And
Steve.
look at that!
And he's going to win.
He owes you
You
pizza.
owe me pizza, Steve.
Schloes, is that how you pronounce it?
Schloes.
Steve Schloes. All right, congratulations, Steve Schloes.
I know he's listening. Too.
Got Big D's pizza.
Bring mine back for me, Steve.
And the Nemires want some too, so make sure you get some extra. This week's how many? We're going to go back to the old standard, how many cars kind of thing. Tomorrow night at Limaland, the Great Lakes traditional sprints are going to be there. How many? How many are we going to get?
Oh, that's it? Just
How many
That's it?
cars?
Yep. How many cars? How many cars will
For
be
what class or the whole
just the
night?
Great Lakes traditional sprints?
Is that wings or no wings?
That's non-winged.
I won last week, so I've got to go first.
He's got to pick first. But you guys can pick too on this.
All right.
You're not going to win anything, but
21.
what? 21? Yeah. See, and I don't have any history. I don't know how many they've been having.
I'll say 24.
24 for Kenny. All right,
JD, you're up.
With 18.
18. Well, in that case, I'm going to go with 20. And if
Right in the middle.
yeah, I figure why not. If you want a chance to win a Big D's Pizza, go ahead and put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or YouTube Live. You have until, we'll say 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. So if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, not live, you can just find our Facebook Live and put your comment in there as long as it's before 4 o'clock.
Wait a minute, Scott. We've got one more in-studio guest. Judy gets to pick.
Oh, that's true, yeah. How many
Go high.
non-wing sprint cars? 30. She's going high.
Whoa.
30 tomorrow at Limaline. All right. Next week, who's the Big D's Pizza? And this is just for bragging rights among
Right,
us, really,
sure.
for the most part. Unless Dean throws in another Big D's Pizza. A little bit less than we did last weekend. So let's check out the Big D's
Latest
menu.
racing news. This weekend's
we got
Big
this one.
D's Pizza Racing Menu.
Race.
Limaland tomorrow night. It's the Keyser Memorial with the Great Lakes traditional sprints, UMP modifieds, and Thunderstocks. Also, the Dirt Track Truck Series in action, the four-cylinder dirt track trucks. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:30. Well, let's go until 5 for the how many.
Okay.
Give it a little extra time. So if they're listening at 4 o'clock tomorrow, Friday afternoon, Eastern time, you still have time to get in and put your guess in our comments of our Facebook Live.
Don't change your mind, though.
Yeah, if you change your mind, you get the black flag that's over there. You can only guess once.
Or if you're at Lima,
What's that?
you could have a better choice. If you're at Lima, you could still have till 5 to.
Well, yeah, but the gates don't open until 5.
Right.
So,
Oh, okay.
racing starts at 7:30. General admission $50 there tomorrow night, Friday night at Limaland. Also Friday night, Attica Raceway Park. It's the Park Burns Electric Metal Master Fabrication Mid-Season Championship night
How can it be mid-season?
because their first
Yeah.
5 of 4 races weekends
March?
got rained out. Yeah. They're going to have the AFCS, the Attica Fremont Championship Series 410 Sprint, the UMP Late Models, and AFCS 305 Sprint. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:45 at Attica. General admission $20 there for adults. Saturday, Flat Rock Speedway. It's Jack's Bike Out Day. There's going to be a 100 lap enduro and street stocks in action. Gates open at 5, racing at 7. General admission $15 there. Oakshade. Late model sportsman, Dominator Super Stocks Compacts. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission is $14 at Oakshade. Also Fremont, it's Hall of Fame night. They're going to have the Attica Fremont Championship Series 410 Sprints, the Attica Fremont Championship Series 305 Sprints, Great Lakes Traditional Sprints. Racing at 7.
That was last week, Scott.
Was it last week?
Yeah, I know the trucks are there this week.
That's what I was thinking. All right, never mind. Apparently, I didn't update the Great Lake. I thought that would seem weird. Trucks, not Great Lakes. There.
Yeah.
They will
But-
have the
but-
vintage race cars there.
Are they going to have the
right.
vintage? Okay. And the Hall of Fame induction ceremony at they have 2:00 on their website, and Dave says they have 2:30 on Facebook. So
Just be there. At 2.
be there by 2, and you'll be good for
I
that.
think the gates open.
Okay. General admission $18. Racing starts at 7:00 there at Fremont. Butler in action with a 4-in-1 show, 410 sprints, UMP modifieds. Street stocks, 4 cylinders, gates at 4:30, racing at 7:30. General admission $15 there. Also Saturday night. Other series of action coming up on Tuesday, June 6th. The High Limit Sprint Car Series back in action at Eagle, Nebraska. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Historic 100 at West Virginia Motor Speedway. That is Friday and Saturday. This Friday and Saturday, June 2nd and 3rd. The Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions will be at Dodge County Fairgrounds in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin tomorrow night. That's Friday, June 2nd. The Race Routine Foundation race at Plymouth Dirt Track in Plymouth, Wisconsin on Saturday, June 3rd. Then looking ahead, we got the World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Model Series in action at Farmer City. The Farmer City Showdown tonight, as a matter of fact. Tri-City Showdown at Tri-City Speedway on Friday night. And Paducah Showdown at Paducah International Raceway in Paducah, Kentucky on Saturday, June 3rd. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series are going to be at River City Speedway in Grand Forks, North Dakota tomorrow night, June 2nd, for the Jourdaw presents the first leg of the Northern Tour. June 2nd, wait, that is tomorrow. And then it's the Big O Showdown at Ogilvie Raceway?
Ogilvie.
That's what I said. Ogilvie Raceway in Ogilvie, Minnesota on Saturday night. I should have you do this.
Probably.
Yeah. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in action at Worldwide Technology Raceway there, that's in St. Louis, right? Yeah.
That's worldwide.
200 Toyota 200. That's Saturday at 1:30. Then FS1, the Xfinity in action at Portland International Raceway for the Pacific Office Automation 147. That's at 40 on Saturday, also on FS1. NASCAR Cup Series will be in action in the Enjoy Illinois 300 presented by Ticketmaster at Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday. That'll be at 3:30 on Fox Sports 1. And then the NTT IndyCar Series back in action. They're going to be on the new course in downtown Detroit for the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix.
What can go wrong with that?
That'll be Sunday, June 4th, 3 o'clock on NBC. We'll move to Detroit. That's where was downtown.
Right.
I think the course is a little different, but then they moved it to Belle Isle shortly after. I went to it, I think, one of the first years I lived there when it was in downtown before they moved it to Belle Isle. And supposedly I read something today that the speeds are pretty crazy for this configuration.
Downtown
Yeah.
Detroit?
Yeah, like right by I saw the layout a while ago. I think it's like right by the river.
By the river, I think.
Yeah. So it ought to be kind of
You
cool.
need to see.
Did they pave the roads or leave them rough?
It's a dirt race, didn't you hear? It's going to be gravel. Lots of foul. I don't know. Just kidding, Michigan.
To borrow a dirt racing phrase, the track will have a lot of character.
There you
Right,
go.
right.
You got a weekend weather pit stop this weekend?
Scott,
It's going to be hot. That's it. We're done.
the sun's going down a lot later. Just butts to a racetrack. There's going to be spectacular.
92 tomorrow.
At evenings, it cools down, comfortable, no humidity.
Yep.
So nothing's going to get rained out this weekend.
No.
I don't think so.
All right. My grass is screaming for rain now.
Oh, it is.
We went from having
Mine's
way too
brown.
much rain to just nothing. Like Mother Nature's like, I'm a race fan now.
6th driest May in history.
Yeah,
Positive is you don't have to cut your.
this is true.
The weeds still grow, though. That's the bad part.
With the sun, they do.
Yeah, so that's about it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report. Thanks to associate producer Dave Kemmer and contributor John Young. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report, follow us on YouTube. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever. We're on all 132.
Wait a minute.
32.
Nothing on the
really.
hotline?
No hotline this week. Oh, I
Oh,
forgot to promote that. Yeah.
419-318-3081. Give us a call or send us a text.
Yeah, there you go. Anytime, day or night, you can do that. Put the number up here just for the people who can't remember orally. They have
All
to
they've got to
visually.
do is look at our website.
Oh, that's
look
true.
at our Facebook page.
HammerdownRacingReport.com. It's on there. 419-318-3081.
Make sure to like us, rate us.
Yeah, even if you don't like, go ahead.
And
Who's on your show next week?
I don't know.
Don't
I
know.
don't know. During the summer months, I like to wait until the weekend and see
Right.
how.
we'll find out who
This
had a
was an
really
odd
good-
one. We scheduled this out a few
Right.
weeks in advance, but
Right.
usually I like to
Either
see what
a really
happened over the
good
weekend.
or a really
Yeah.
bad weekend. It's
Yeah.
newsworthy.
Right.
see what happened and then
We
see
appreciate the
make a
input,
noise. Yeah.
because you'll have a lot more followers and listeners now that we.
Absolutely, yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
We've had a few new subscribers since just today, so thanks to you guys. Thanks again to our sponsors, DCR Graphics, Big D's Pizza, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Headhunters Barber Studio and Salon, Dominator Race Products. If you're interested in being a sponsor of the Hammer Down Racing Report, you can contact us on the Hammer Down hotline or visit hammerdownracingreport.com.
Or call Ron Miller Race Cars.
Or get a hold of Ron, yeah. And next time, that's
Yeah.
seemed to go over pretty fast. It looked like a lot of people went and actually got their tickets too, so that was pretty cool.
Thanks to All-Star Racing for All-Star Performance on that. They
Absolutely.
provided the tickets. Good folks.
Absolutely. And thanks to you guys for coming in, JD, Kenny, Judy. Appreciate it. It was fun taking a walk down memory lane. I've learned some things, and I know the Nemire name will always be associated with successful racing.
Thank you.
With class.
With class? Well, I don't know about that. All right, we'll go with that. Make sure to get out to support your favorite track, local track, least favorite track. Just get out and support a track this weekend.
Please.
And, because we're all one big racing family, as you guys kind of mentioned there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday. We're out.
Thank you.
Night all.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.